Hey, what's going on, guys? Berserk 374 is officially out. Let's talk about it. Now, to start off this chapter, like a lot of chapters that's been released by Studio Gaga post Mira's death, we got a colored cover for this one, and it's actually really nice. We see Serpico on top of the ship, along with Puck and Isidro down below. So again, a really nice colored cover. I really like this. So yeah, just a nice piece of artwork. So again, to start off this chapter, we got the Kushan boats rowing towards the Seahorse, and we know this from the previous chapter already, but it seems like we're going back in time just a little bit to see how they got on the ship. And we see that they got various crossbows, and they're going to use said crossbows to latch onto the ship so that they could board it. And they do just that, and we see that the Seahorse is absolutely surrounded by the Kushan boats, so they literally got no escape at this point. What's going to happen is going to happen. Now, Serpico is wondering what that sound is, and he quickly notices that the Kushans are boarding the ship. Now, Serpico attempts to warn Isidro. He's like, Master Farnese is in trouble. You gotta go help her out. Now, Serpico looks to defend himself against the various Kushan warriors. Unfortunately, he doesn't have his sword on him at this point. He kind of thought that the worst of it was over after what happened on Elfhelm, but lo and behold, they're attacked once again. And it happens at the very worst moment. So Serpico, not willing to give up so easily, looks to jump over the side of the boat to a lower level. Isidro decides to kick one of the Kushans right in the face, as Serpico tells him to be a little bit careful since they're experienced fighters. Now, they make their move to Lady Farnese and Shirka. Unfortunately, the room itself is actually locked from the inside. And upon peering inside, Serpico sees something rather horrifying. It looks like the Kushan warriors already made their way inside the room itself. We see that Roderick is trying to fend off the various women from the Kushan warriors. We see that Morta and Farnese are cowering in fear. They've got nothing they can do at this moment. And even Magnifico is cowering in fear. I mean, what a pussy. You know, his one moment that he can show that he's a man, his one moment that he can help defend the others and redeem himself for all his cowardice, and he's the biggest pussy of them all. So, I mean, it's unsurprising, but still, you know, you thought at some moments he might redeem himself, but no, he's just gonna cower with the women and children. Now, the Kushan warriors even surround the mustachioed knight Tazan while he's taking a little bit of a drink. Now, after subduing him and locking him up, he notices that they're going into the room in which the Black Swordsman is hiding. And he thinks to himself, if they waken the Black Swordsman, this could be really bad. Now, the Kushans are unyielding. They walk into the room, ready to rip him to pieces. Now, this is a really fascinating part of the chapter, probably the second best moment in the chapter itself. As they walk into the room, they see Guts lying on the ground. They obviously notice the large sword, the Dragon Slayer, lying on the ground. Now, one of the warriors kicks it away from his hand, but upon doing that, they notice a dog leash on the ground. They wonder what this could mean, and then they also find a bunch of chains. Now, obviously, us as the readers know where this is coming from, but why are the chains there? Obviously, the chains are from the Beast of Darkness. But the Beast of Darkness is not part of the physical plane. It's part of the astral plane. It's something that exists within Guts' own mind. But for it to exist within the physical plane now, obviously begs a lot of questions. Does this mean that Guts has made a deal with the Beast of Darkness? And by making said deal, has it brought the Beast of Darkness to the physical plane? And if the Beast of Darkness is in the physical plane, what does that mean for Guts? Does this mean that Guts has lost a portion of himself? Does this mean that Guts is going to be a completely different person from this point moving forward? Is it like I said in the past? Is it going to be a similar situation to Skull Knight and Zod, where at one point they were the same person, but then they split, with Zod being the Beast of Darkness and Skull Knight being the husk of man that remains? And if that's so, does that mean Guts will become a husk of a man from this point forward? A lot of speculation, a lot of questions moving forward, but going forward with this chapter itself, once the Kushan warrior grabs onto the chains, we notice that the chains on the Beast of Darkness are shattering, are breaking away, which means that the Beast of Darkness is free at this point, can do as it will. And this might be the very reason that the Kushans are defeated on this ship and what saves everyone. But we'll have to wait until the next chapter or possibly chapters down the line. Now we're back on the top of the ship itself, and Roderick is telling the Kushans that he's the captain of the ship. Now, even though Roderick is attempting to speak to them, it's almost as if they're being controlled. It's almost as if these Kushan warriors are not even people at this point. So did someone put them into somewhat of a hypnotic trance? Really hard to say, but it definitely seems that they're not acting normally at this point. Now, Magnifico starts to panic, realizing that these are the Kushan warriors that attacked Virtanis Harbor. Now, Roderick is wondering why the Kushans haven't destroyed them at this point, especially considering that they have such an adept grasp on magic. But perhaps there's something on the ship itself that is more valuable than destroying. Perhaps they have an ulterior motive, and he's trying to figure out what that could be. We then notice that the various inhabitants of the ship itself are all tied up, they're bound, and they got no means for escape and no means for fighting back. We then notice that off on one of the Kushan ships, we can see Salat and the various Baki Raka members. We then go back to the seahorse itself, and it looks like Guts is walking. Although we don't know the circumstances in which he is walking. We don't know if he's being carried by the various Kushan warriors, or if he's walking on his own accord. We then go back to the Kushan warriors, and we notice someone rather familiar amongst them. Someone we haven't seen since, I believe, chapter 341, 342, and it's none other than the God-hand-slapping man himself, Rickert. And of course, this just opens up a whole can of speculation, because now we have to wonder, why are the Kushans attacking this ship? Was it under the directive of Salat or Rickert? And for what purposes are they doing it? Are they doing it so that they can coerce Guts into fighting with them against Griffith? Or do they have some ulterior motive? It also got me to thinking, because does Rickert even know that Guts is on the Seahorse? I don't even think Rickert knows who Roderick is, or Farnese, or Shirka, so he might not even be involved in the plan to capture Guts or the Seahorse whatsoever. So this whole revelation may come as a shock to Rickert at this point. In which case, he may have to convince Salat not to kill Guts and to sort of change his plans, whatever those plans may be at this point. But we know that Griffith is heading east. We would imagine that he's going after the various Kushans, so it would obviously be to the advantage of Salat and Rickert to sort of talk to Guts and get him to fight for their side. If he's even able to fight at this point. I mean, if the Beast of Darkness is gone from Guts' psyche, who even knows what kind of condition Guts is in? But I think with the information given, I think that's all we could speculate on for now, so I'll leave it for you guys to talk about it more in the comments. Tell me what you guys saw of this chapter, and I'll catch you on the flip side.